Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Duelist Arsenal, the show where I outline good choke points, important interactions, and general information about specific meta decks. Today we are looking at none other than Sky Strikers, a deck that has a very sore spot in my heart because it prevented me from topping my first and only YCS. Shout out to Luca for helping me with this video, and let's get straight on into it. Alright, so to begin, as always, we start off with Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Now, you could hit Engage, but at the beginning of the duel, it's just so variable, it's almost safer just to save it for the Sky Striker Shizuku in the end phase. Now, importantly, Shizuku cannot add a card from deck to hand that is already in the graveyard. So if they have an Engage in the grave, don't let them add a second Engage. Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion is great against Ray. It really does a lot against this deck. You really just want to stop Ray floating because that shuts off a lot of their advantage. And in the same vein, DD Crow and Bystials do the exact same thing. Effect Veiler is pretty weird. It's very dependent on the game state. You could hit Kagari if they do something like Engage, add Ray, or Hornet Drones, but if they add something like Widow Anchor or Afterburners or something like that, it's pretty good to hit the Shizuku in main phase because they can only summon each link once per turn. So if you stop the Shizuku, they don't get the Shizuku end phase add, which as we know is pretty strong. Imperm is the same thing, however, if they're going for the linkage OTK, you want to hit the Hayate. It prevents the Rose from going to graveyard, which means they don't get the boost when they linkage back a monster. Ghost Ogre, there's really only one good target, and that's the multi-roll. You could hit something like Area Zero or Ray, but it's just really not strong. Ray will float, and Area Zero isn't even a good card to begin with. So let's go ahead and just hit the multi-roll, shall we? Now getting on to some generic information, Droll and Lockbird is very middling against this deck, which is weird to say because it adds so much. There's hands where it does end the turn, and there's hands where it does nothing. So side Droll if you have nothing better to side in, but try to side in other cards like Dimension Shifter, which does just end their turn immediately. Generic back row hate is just good. Featherstorm and Twin Twister are really strong, but Cosmic is very interesting because you can hit the Engage. Because it stays on the field until the chain resolves, it will give banished. It means they can't recur it with Kagari. Erad and Anti-Spell pretty much just win the game on the spot. When your deck is over 70% spells, shutting off the spells will just do it. So the last card I want to talk about is Evenly Matched. This is an incredibly strong card against Striker because they will not have spells engraved. They need spells engraved for the additional effects of all their spell cards. And if you go standby main, attempt to leave main, they might just activate some spells preemptively because the whole thing is because the cards stay on field until the chain resolves, they get banished anyway if they chain to Evenly Matched. So good Striker players will try to get some spells engraved, so they'll activate maybe a Widow Anchor or an Afterburners or something just to get it engraved. So if you just bluff the Evenly Matched, they might just activate stuff that you no longer have to deal with, and you just play in main too. You usually can't just kill them on the first turn because they can go, Shizuku into Ray, Ray into Kaina, and then you have to deal with that. So this is a way to kind of just force them to waste things just so they don't immediately lose if you do have the Evenly Matched. And that is about it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace!